Hey guys, and welcome back to Quality Shot Tennis. My name's Anthony Hirsch. Today I'm going to be previewing the Carlos Alcaraz versus Jannik Sinner final in the Six Kings exhibition. It is the final that will be played tomorrow, October 19th. The official ATP head-to-head between the two players is 6-4 for Carlos. Carlos taking all three meetings that were played this year, despite all three meetings going to a deciding set. Once at Indian Wells, where Alcaraz won in 3, once at Roland Garros, where Alcaraz won in 5, and once in Beijing, their first final in over a couple years, where Alcaraz won 7-6 in the third, their last meeting, an epic match where Alcaraz won in 3 hours and 21 minutes. You'll remember the tiebreaker where Sinner was up 3-0, double mini break, and Alcaraz was able to come back anyway. These two always produce great tennis. It's not going to be an official ATP match. It's just going to be an exhibition match, but genuinely, I honestly think that both guys are going to be going at 100% in this match, and I'll tell you the reasons why. Personally, I haven't been that invested in this exhibition. It's hard for me to get invested in most exhibitions because there is stakes with the money that's at hand. In fact, the winner of this match will take the biggest prize money in tennis history. For any one tennis match, this is the biggest amount of money that the winner will have ever won. But I'm not that interested, just as a fan perspective, I'm not that interested in the money. A lot of these I feel like are matchups we're seeing a lot anyway, like Sinner versus Medvedev, Alcaraz versus Rune. We're seeing these anyway. I wasn't that interested, but I do think that this one's a little bit interesting. I think that both guys are going to be giving their all. Why do I think both guys are going to be giving their all? Well, first of all, $6 million is no joke. As the amount of money, $6 million is no joke. That's the first thing. $6 million is an amount of money that, unless you're a billionaire, you're going to want to take that home. But the bigger reasons why is that these are two guys who are the two best players in the world right now, both coming off of pretty great win streaks, winning some big tournaments. Particularly Jannik has gone to the final of his last 4 tournaments and won 3 out of the 4, the one loss being to Alcaraz. And I think that both guys are going to want to, I think that Carlos is going to want to keep the mental edge over Jannik, having won their last 3 meetings and all 3 meetings this year. I don't think that he even wants Jannik to feel like he can beat him in an exhibition match. And Jannik, on the other hand, is going to want to try to build some confidence and see what he can go up against in Carlos's game. So I honestly think they're going to be almost shockingly locked in. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think that some people are going to say, wow, they really care about this tournament exhibition. I don't really think that that's necessarily the case. I think what's going to happen is I think that they really care about keeping the mental edge in this head-to-head, which is a very important thing in tennis. I think they're going to be shockingly locked in due to that reason. The other thing is the Six Kings branding. The branding of this tournament is almost strictly around the greatness or the all-time greatness of players and, seeing who's the best of the best and all of that. And it seems to me that Alcaraz would really want to have that title of the champion of that tournament, Six Kings with Djokovic and Nadal. I don't think Sinner is as highly motivated by something like that, but I think that Alcaraz will be highly motivated to win a tournament where the branding is who's the best of the GOATs, who's the best of the best. So I think that could be a big motivation for Alcaraz. But the point is that I think that they're going to have some motivations for this final. So I think it could actually be pretty interesting. I'm still not that excited, honestly, in comparison to if it was an actual ATP match with ranking points, and an ATP sanctioned tournament, but it should still be a fun match to watch. So anyway, like I was saying, the head-to-head is 6-4 for Carlos. It is 7-4 if you include challenger meetings. Of those 11 meetings, 8 out of 11, both players took at least one set. In all the other 3 matches, there was at least one very close tiebreaker set. This rivalry is insane. Sinner versus Alcaraz is an incredible rivalry. Something about it is just different. It's fire versus ice. They bring out the best out of each other. It's Carlos, who's this shot-making marvel, versus Sinner, who's a little bit more robotic, but I mean, Sinner is incredibly effective, but he does it using an insane amount of talent. And occasionally that talent will just come out in spades. And who better to bring out Sinner's talent and variety that he does have in him than one and only Carlos Alcaraz, who's an absolute variety machine and has every shot in the book, and he's inventing about 10 new shots a day. And then you have Sinner, who Alcaraz, I really think, does not like playing at all. I think Alcaraz, when he sees Sinner's name, he might say to the press, "Oh, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun new rivalry." And I think Alcaraz hates it. Sinner might enjoy it too, because he gets to improve and get better as a player and see what he needs to do. Alcaraz is such a good rival for him to get better, and it's really helped him so far. I think Alcaraz honestly really doesn't like playing Sinner. Sinner is the amalgamation of what Alcaraz does not like playing. Sinner is on top of the baseline, rushes Alcaraz from the back of the court in so many different ways. And I mean, the serve versus return dynamic, I think that Alcaraz does not like playing Jannik, and I think that he's had success this year. Albeit at two of those courts were Roland Garros and Indian Wells, which I think Alcaraz will feel he has big advantage on both those courts, and they were close. And then the other one was Beijing, which could have gone either way. This is on indoor hard courts, where I feel like Sinner might feel like he has an advantage, which is interesting. So far in this tournament, Alcaraz has beaten Rune and Nadal, dropping a total of 12 games. I feel like Sinner's played the better opponents. He's beaten Medvedev and Djokovic taking a set on him in the semifinals. In that match, Sinner looked really fatigued. He looked a bit tired. Alcaraz, on the other hand, against Nadal, looked absolutely fantastic. If I was to talk a little bit about their performances before I kind of get into my prediction and ultimately what I think is going to happen, I think Sinner was fighting a bit of tiredness and fatigue, not the most pitch-perfect match from either Novak or Jannik. I feel like Sinner was the mentally stronger of the two players. His mental game was strong, and his ball striking in depth, his backhand, his serve, all of those things are still really good. But I mean, I don't know. It was a tough match. He was fighting fatigue. At one point, he almost smashed his racket, which is something you just don't see from Jannik. It was a tough match. It was a brutal match for Jannik. On the other hand, Alcaraz looked absolutely fantastic. Alcaraz, in his match against Nadal, his lateral movement is just fantastic. His footwork, we know that, just such easy power. His backhand is better than ever. His backhand's been absolutely remarkable since the U.S. Open, which has been part of his huge success in the last little bit. So those are a few things that I want to talk about. But I mean, both guys in form. This is coming at a really interesting moment, almost a little bit poetic, as Nadal announces his retirement. Nadal and Djokovic playing on the same day, their last meeting in front of a big crowd. As pro players. Sinner and Alcaraz, the brand new fresh rivalry, who always play epic matches, playing on the same day. They just played an epic in Beijing. It's pretty poetic in some way, and I think that it should be pretty interesting, an interesting moment for this match to occur. For all the things that I mentioned, for all the reasons that I mentioned, I think Alcaraz will defeat Sinner in 2 close sets, maybe not unlike the Olympics final, which was incredibly, incredibly competitive and hard fought and close, but it just felt like Novak against Alcaraz in that match had a bit of the mental edge, maybe, and was just a little bit more locked in, and that might be a similar case here. Both might play incredibly well, but I feel like Alcaraz will be really intense, really locked in, and I feel like he'll get it done in 2 close sets. Won't be surprised if this goes 3 as well. If Sinner wants to win, he needs to be physically fresh. That's not what it seemed like he was in the semis against Novak. He needs to find ways to be really aggressive, but also not hit unforced errors. There's a lot of unforced errors against Novak. And the mental strength in the big moments needs to come out. He needs to not have another third set tiebreaker like he did in Beijing. He needs to have his serve to be there, especially on indoor hard courts. His backhand needs to be there when he goes to backhand. His variety needs to be there. We'll see. Both these guys have been defending exceptionally well and moving exceptionally well, so it should be a fun match. We always see super dynamic just skillful points between the two of them, and it always makes for a good watch. I go with Carlos in two really close sets. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the final of the Six King Slam. I hope we see this matchup in an ATP final as well. Hopefully, especially in a big tournament. And on indoor hard courts, it's really going to level things up, and I think we'll see that tomorrow as well. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been Anthony Hirsch. Keep your eye out, please, on new podcasts on this channel that I do, and more previews and videos like this that I'm going to be putting out on Quality Shot Tennis. But yeah, it's been Anthony Hirsch. Please don't forget to like. Please don't forget to subscribe. Quality Shot Tennis. This is where you want to get your tennis content. And yeah, I'll see you guys for more things tennis down the road. Thanks for watching.